Topping today's news, a magistrate court officer arraigned in the December 2nd murder of a passport office employee for traffic fatalities on the weekend concerning for traffic police. The acting prime minister shares numbers of fees from overhead flights, and parliamentarians begin debate on a new national investment fund. Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Darren Saunders. This is your JCN Evening News. It's a pleasure to have you join us. A 47-year-old magistrate court officer, Corporal Darren Davis, and his accomplice, 27-year-old Stephen Davis, were brought before the very courts where he works to both be charged with one count of conspiracy of murder. The particulars are that on Friday, December 2nd, both the officer and his relative conspired for the killing of passport office employee 43-year-old Jason Whitfield. Whitfield was found lifeless in a government vehicle with gunshot wounds. Both men were not required to enter a plea and were remanded to the Central Police Station until tomorrow. That's by special request of counsel. The matter was adjourned until March 23, 2023. 4 traffic fatalities in less than 24 hours as the weekend was marred by traffic deaths, leaving the Royal Bahamas Police Force Traffic Division to appeal not only to members of the motoring public, but also to pedestrians to exercise vigilance while traversing the streets. 2 of those traffic fatalities occurring on Eleuthera within just hours of each other. According to police reports, the first accident occurred shortly after 3 a.m. on Sunday on Queens Highway, near a business establishment in Governor's Harbor. Initial reports reveal that a black Honda Stream, driven by a female accompanied by a male passenger, was traveling south along Queens Highway when the driver collided with a wall and a tree. The female received minor injuries and was treated and discharged by local doctors. However, the male passenger received serious injuries and succumbed to his injuries on scene. Now, some 9 hours later, shortly before noon, a 30-year-old male of Hatchet Bay, Eleuthera, lost his life in an accident that also occurred on Queens Highway. The deceased was a passenger on the back of a 2006 Chevy Silverado 250 truck that was traveling north along Queens Highway when he accidentally fell from the truck as the driver overtook another vehicle. On Grand Bahama, a 70-year-old man is dead after he was struck attempting to cross the street sometime around 12:15 a.m. on Saturday. According to police, a 31-year-old male was driving west along Queens Highway in a silver 2013 Cadillac XTS when he reportedly struck the victim, who was attempting to cross the street. The victim received serious injuries and succumbed to his injuries on scene. Hours after this incident, shortly after 4 a.m. here in the capital, a 19-year-old male motorcyclist succumbed to injuries he received in an accident on University Drive in the area of Portigo Road, involving his red and green Yamaha Krypton scooter and a silver Nissan Cube. The victim was transported to hospital via emergency medical services personnel, where he later succumbed to his injuries. Police are investigating these incidents and are appealing to members of the public to drive with due care and attention, obey the speed limit, never drive while intoxicated or tired, and when driving, always wear your seatbelt. Additionally, police wish to remind road users that pickup trucks are designed to carry goods and cargo and not people. However, if you must give an individual a ride, ensure that they are seated flat in the bed of the truck. With the turn of the new year, many Bahamian citizens should expect to see more work towards a livable wage, according to Minister of Labor Keith Bell. Mr. Bell revealed that he is having discussions today to push, or he had discussions today to push the agenda of a livable wage further. In October, Minister Bell is on record stating that the government is committed to phasing in a livable wage for Bahamian workers, citing a study done in 2020 by the University of the Bahamas that concluded that a livable wage in New Providence and Grand Bahama is between $2,625 and $3,550 per month.
Today I have a meeting with the department heads, the Department of Labor, to discuss this, where we at the start of actually educating everybody and ensuring that we get, and the idea and the object of a livable wage is to ensure that as inflation and road traffic and food in the food stores, everything goes up, that your wage goes up the same time. How we achieve that is open for discussion and debate, and that is why we need everybody to get on board.
When asked how the new minimum wage, which is to be increased from $210 a week to $260 a week, effective January 2023, is being implemented by employers, the Labor Minister says implementation is going smoothly by all indications, based on communications with the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and the Employers Federation. Additionally, with the public service receiving their increase, he said the government is pleased that it has been able to achieve another goal outlined in their Blueprint for Change manifesto. The government revenue from overflight fees is at $3 million a month, according to Acting Prime Minister Chester Cooper. Mr. Cooper revealed the information when asked about the previous administration's efforts to put the new revenue stream in place. Former Minister of Tourism and Aviation Dionisio de Aguilar revealed at the last cabinet meeting before its dissolution in September of 2021 that the accounts were created at the Bank of the Bahamas, where it was agreed the International Air Transport Association will deposit fees it collects from its member airlines on behalf of the Bahamas government. As the current Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, Acting Prime Minister Chester Cooper revealing that the agreement is still in place, having established a flight information region with the International Civil Aviation Organization, or ICAO.
So that's going reasonably well. This was an arrangement that was made for the outsourcing of the collection through IATA, which is like the Association of Airlines. We determined, the previous administration determined, that the outsourcing of the overflight management above certain.
Collection of overflight fees for the country's airspace began in January this year with an estimated $25 to $35 million to be earned annually, with potential to rise to $50 million annually when air traffic returns to normal. The Inter-American Development Bank, the IDB, estimates the Bahamas' infrastructure needs to sustain a gross domestic product GDP growth, a growth rate of 3 to 5% annually, which is equivalent to between $500 and $600 million. This coming from Free National Movement Shadow Minister of Finance Kwesi Thompson while debating the new National Investments Bill in the House of Assembly this morning. He notes that due to fiscal challenges, the government is unable to sustain the growth rate to correct all infrastructure issues with just government revenue alone.
This bill has been notably benchmarked. It is benchmarked against international practice, and it is progressive and innovative legislation. In our Blueprint for Change, we promise to create a sovereign wealth fund as well as a sovereign investment fund in order that we could empower Bahamians and make sure that our resources benefit the Bahamian people. We also promised to secure carbon credit payments for our natural resources. This bill facilitates all of those things. It creates a framework that will give support for the blue economy, the green economy, and the orange economy, as we promised we would do in our Blueprint for Change.
Minister Thompson believes that in order for the bill to be successful, it must be free from government and political influence. Acting Prime Minister Chester Cooper, on a point of order, noted that the government must oversee laws so that the appropriate balance is maintained.
The bill provides a legacy for future generations of citizens of the Bahamas. It provides for the management of the natural resource wealth of the Bahamas and private investments held by the government of the Bahamas for the present and future benefit of its people in an effective and efficient manner. This bill ensures that investments and private shareholdings of the government are managed professionally for the long-term benefit of citizens of the Bahamas. It ensures that the revenues from natural resources and investments of the Bahamas contribute to the economic certainty of the country and its people. This bill provides for the fair transferring of natural resource wealth across generations to ensure that those who come after us will also benefit. It facilitates the using of natural resource wealth to finance national development priorities, including any initiative aimed at developing relatively untapped economies and infrastructure of the country.
The Member of Parliament for East Grand Bahama says the opposition cannot be fully in agreement with the bill unless it is not directly or indirectly pursuing the political agenda of the government. And finally, in this segment, the world has become increasingly interdependent of each country, and that is according to Prime Minister Philip Davis, who attended a two-day summit of the Organization of African, Caribbean, and Pacific States. The 10th summit was held in Angola, Africa, under the theme, 3 continents, 3 oceans, a common destiny, building a resilient and sustainable organization of African, Caribbean, and Pacific states.
We need to recognize and continue to recognize that through partnership and through cooperation and collaboration, we are better for each other and we better the world by being in dialogue for matters such as trade and investments. We are a net importer community in the CARICOM, and so we need to be able to source those goods and services that help to better the lives of our people. No one country, no one region could exist on its own.
Prime Minister Davis contends countries must work together to make each other stronger, because by doing so, it makes the world a better place for all.
As the Bahamas, being a part of CARICOM, and recognizing the need for each of us to lean on each other, to help each other, this conference in our dialogue, hopefully, will bring a better understanding of each other, first of all, understanding what we can do for each other. We can understand our weaknesses, identify our strengths, share the opportunities, and connect with one another to ensure that at the end of the day, the peoples of our various countries benefit.
Prime Minister Davis at the summit noted that the Bahamas recognizes the significant strategic trading opportunities that exist between ourselves and the African nations, adding that the Bahamas is committed to actively brokering new partnerships and new markets to promote stronger growth for all people. We'll take a break here. We'll be right back after these commercials.